time we celebrate Mass. Then we remembered on Good Friday that Jesus suffered. He was condemned by the very people that he came as the Messiah for, the very people that he loved. He was condemned to death. He suffered horrifically. And he died and was buried. On Holy Saturday, we remember that time where he goes to it's called the harrowing of hell. He goes to Sheol, the netherworld, and calls out all those righteous that had died, that were awaiting their salvation. And then today we celebrate that great day of Easter, the victory, ultimate victory, which is our victory over sin and death. So Jesus sacrificed everything for you and for me, for all people of all time. Will we make the sacrifices that are necessary to allow His light to shine through us? Will we do that or not? I don't know if you've ever thought about this, but have you ever considered the way that your life is going to have a substantial effect on hundreds of people, maybe even thousands if you live long enough? That each of those people are going to affect another hundreds of people, maybe 1,000, so that the impact of your life could maybe be 1 million people. You know what that means is that all the selfish and hateful and sinful ways that we may conduct our lives has a far greater cataclysmic effect on the way this world unfolds than you realize, than you and I may truly understand. But it also means that the good that you do, the love that you show, the faith that shines through you has a much greater, wonderful effect on the world than you may think. And these effects don't just radiate through space, but they radiate through time and even into eternity. A few weeks ago, you heard me say that the world degenerates into hell if too many people hide their light under a bushel basket. But when people allow God's light to shine through, when we allow the light of Christ to shine through us, we become the light of the world. A world that's stuck in darkness, that needs it. You know, one group of people that especially affects hundreds and thousands of people are teachers. I'm very grateful for our Catholic school teachers at St. Mary's and Sacred Heart of Jesus High School. One of our teachers was explaining to the class about the fourth commandment. Teaching about all the commandments and said, this one, we honor our father and mother, and if we honor them, that God promises a blessing. So then she asked, so what was the commandment that teaches us how to treat our brothers and our sisters? Well, one boy, he was the oldest, and he had about 3 little brothers. His hand shot up and said, oh yeah, it's the 5th commandment. Thou shalt not kill. As the eldest of 4, I identify with that. Recently went with the youth group to see the movie Cabrini. I encourage you to go see it. It's an awesome film. St. Francis Xavier Cabrini was someone who did not hide the light of Christ. She let it shine through her. She was born in 1850. She founded a missionary order called the Missionary Sisters of the Sacred Heart. Did you know that at her death in 1917, a little over 100 years ago, she had founded 67 institutions, orphanages, schools, hospitals. Think of the millions of people that she's affected and that she continues to affect to this very day. When she was canonized in 1946 by Pope Pius XII, she was the first naturalized U.S. citizen to be declared a saint. He declared her as the patron saint of all immigrants. See, she arrived in New York with just 6 sisters. Only one of them spoke a little English. Today, her missionary order serves in 17 different countries, carrying on the work of charity that she started, especially serving in immigration and child care and health care. If she had dreamed since she was a little child of serving the people of China, that's why when she became religious, she took the name Xavier. That wasn't her birth name. She took that because of St. Francis Xavier, who went to China, or was on his way to China and died on a little island just outside of China. But instead, the Pope asked her to go to America. He said where she would find the suffering and misery of her fellow Italians. Back in the 1800s, there was huge immigration from Italy into the United States. She devoted herself to them, and with intense apostolic work, she tried to give them back the dignity of children of God with all the rights and duties that they deserved. Her work became possible because of the sacrifice and the work of her fellow sisters, but also many people of goodwill, professionals, donors, volunteers. She understood that in order to achieve her work, she needed sacrifice, she needed intense activity, but more importantly, she knew that she needed prayer, worship, and constant union with God. She committed her entire life to these foundations that she did. It required a lot of business acumen. But above all, she worked for the love of the heart of Jesus that comes to all, and especially for those who are marginalized, those who are hurting, those who are suffering, those who are pushed aside by society. But she also came to turn the hearts of those who were in positions of authority and power, so that they could help bring about a more just and fraternal society. After her death, there were a lot of miracles attributed to her intercession. I'll share with you one very dramatic one. There's a little baby named Peter Smith, 1921. His eyeballs had horrifically dissolved because a nurse had applied the wrong kind of medicine. It was really highly concentrated. Well, after that horrible accident, his parents obtained a relic of Mother Cabrini and prayed for her intercession. And the very next morning, those baby's eyes were blue and clear. He could see. And that guy grew up to be a priest. It's a really beautiful story. In the movie, we hear about her motto. Her motto was, "I can do all things through Him who strengthens me." In many respects, Cabrini's dream seemed hopeless. She faced, and you probably are aware of this, I don't know if you've ever seen that movie, The Gangs of New York. I don't recommend that one, but if you've seen it, it brings out how terrible conditions were in New York City for the immigrants. There was huge prejudice against Catholics and against Italians. She had a very frail health. At one point, the doctor said she had maybe 2 or 3 years to live. She had this wild dream to build orphanages around the world. But she knew that this was totally out of her control. She couldn't do this, but she knew that God could. She refused to let the circumstances of her life steal her hope. She was determined to share this confidence with the whole world. She said, you see it in the movie, "We are here to build an empire of hope." And then she also said this. She said, "This world is too small for what I intend to do." A little goes a long way. We hear that in the second reading about a little yeast. Well, a little kindness, a little love, even according to Jesus, a little faith can do amazing things. He says, a little faith can move mountains. Mother Cabrini said, a small gesture of love can change everything. How and her faith was anything but small. Like Cabrini, may we never cease to be the hands, the feet, and the heart of Jesus, especially to those who are least among us. May we do that no matter what it costs us. Are we willing to make the sacrifices necessary to allow the light of Christ to shine through us? We're born into a world in darkness, a world of crisis, and no one can escape the call to serve. Jesus sacrificed everything for us. We're going to affect thousands of people in our lifetime. Is it going to be for good or for